at scale is now viable in a way that hasn't been possible. We can look at the major industries using the ocean today and use our technology to help them move towards sustainable operations. The benefit of having Cognizant as a partner is that they can see where other solutions potentially might be.
This is about operationalizing sustainability. It's not just reporting on it. And we want to take what we learn in one industry, say aquaculture, and we want to lead that into marine shipping. And we want to go from marine shipping and aquaculture into blue energy. And if we can scale these solutions around the globe, I think we're all going to notice. We actually can have big impact.
All right, timing is a bitch. So, I'm going to take you through a little bit of what we're doing in Cognizant together with Tidal. That's real, it's happening right now, and it's happening in our oceans. Why is the oceans important? As a kid, I was taught in school that the rainforest was the most important thing we could save. In fact, our government, where I come from, Norway, spends billions on subsidizing eco-friendly systems in the Amazons. However, 70 to 80% of our breathable oxygen for humans come from the ocean. The rainforest is important for biodiversity, but not so much to sustain our air. 90% of carbon emissions is sustained in the oceans. 90%. And it can't take anymore. I'm sure most of us have read the headlines saying that the ocean is heating up. It's because it's over the limit of carbon that it can contain. And it's producing less oxygen. So, in turn, if we don't do anything, and this is happening now, we will suffocate. How is this about technology? Heavy asset industry is predominantly around the oceans, has not been digitalized. Going from back office functions and CRM systems to actual interfacing with the physical world is where we have to go to change humanity and our planet. And we believe that this is where the big next leap goes. Around 3 billion people have their livelihood around the oceans. And it's about, in 2030, it's about a $6 trillion industry. So we are working hard at that. One of the tricky parts with working with ecosystems in the real life, not just partner systems and hyperscalers, et cetera, is that if you do something over there, it will break something over here if we don't know what we're doing. It's all connected. If I fix renewable energy in the North Sea, that will affect the currents. We need to know this, and we need to work together, and we need to combine a lot of areas and knowledge to be able to do the right thing. So, ecosystem is more important than ever. That is why we have gone together with Tidal. Tidal is a project sitting inside X. X is the moonshot factory of Alphabet and Google. These guys care only about one thing, and that is saving the climate using technology, and it has to matter 10 times the effect that it has today. So these are the craziest ones. These are the 1% of the 1% of the best people in the world around AI and engineering, and we're working together with them, saving the oceans. At the same time, we need to balance that with economy. There is no way we can go forth and just be naive and thinking that people will do the right thing just because it saves ourselves. Ironically, I know. It also has to produce money. So we're balancing the incentives of being more efficient and doing the right thing by also growing their economy. These are the 4 verticals that we're predominantly addressing right now. Food, because we need to feed ourselves. We're almost 9 billion people soon, and we don't have enough food, not enough protein on the world. 1 kilo of feed to salmon gives 1 kilo of human feed, protein. In an ox, it's 35%. And much more feed and much more water is spent. Blue transportation runs our global economy. And no more true is that now. We see that delays in supply chain, etc. And at the same time, we have to keep life going. Also clean water, I'll speak to that as well. And we need to create new sources for renewable energy, but we need to do that without disturbing life as it is. So small topics, I know. It's easy to talk about, it's hard to do something about it. The device that's behind me or on the screens right now is running, and by the hundreds outside of the coast of Norway. It's an invention made by X. It's an autonomous underwater robot. It's no human intervention whatsoever. It's running by itself, and it's sustaining better health conditions for the fish. It's feeding the fish autonomously, and it's looking after it in every conceivable way. There's no need for farmers, no need for human interventions. Yes, I know that's a debate, AI and human intervention, but in this case, that's the best. It's very hard for people to get out there. The weather is harsh, and predominantly we don't see very well at night. It's been running for 5 years already, some of these devices, in the harshest conditions in the top of Norway. So they really work. And they're rolling out by the hundreds every month. And the data we get from this is extraordinary. And it's all connected, of course, to the cloud and to AI. But we're not stopping there. That one is a commercialized running product that's rolling out all over the place. But we're also attacking the ocean industries at a bigger scale. And no one is more bigger than global shipping. So how can we take what runs the global economy at scale, really truly does, and make sure that that runs better? Better so they make more money, we get our goods at time, and at the same time we lower emissions. One way of doing that is not just creating AI, but making sure that we can interact with AI. And this is a simple example, but it works. And these days of generative AI, I think this example speaks for itself. These are not people talking. This is assets talking. These are ships and ports talking together, generating data and explaining to us what they're doing so we can interact and tell them otherwise if there's lacking of information or data. And then, of course, it also calculates how much CO2 we saved by doing the right decision at the right time. And we're working with shipping companies around the world to make this at scale. Not a simple task. There's lots of things to overcome. Data sharing in the industry at large is not something that's easily done. So we have to actually operate in a world where we model around uncertainty. We don't have all the data that it takes to connect everything in global trade. And we probably never will in my time. But we can model around uncertainty. We can say, the next best thing that I know is this, their user. Now make the best choice informed and weigh that against CO2 emissions, fuel costs, and a time of arrival. And we calculated that by using this system, shipping can cut $21 billion annually in fuel consumption. That amounts to a lot of emissions. If we can just change 2% of the Port of LA's emissions by doing them more efficient, how they go in and out of the port, that's 600,000 megatons of CO2. That's why digitization matters in the real world, and that's why the physical world also needs to be digitized. And this is a picture of what we're endeavoring to do together with X, connecting all those dots. It's a huge ecosystem. And all in the name of driving a better economy, at the same time driving down the CO2 footprint, and a lot of other things that comes from emissions of ships. Now, rivers runs into the shores, and the shores are connected to the oceans. In the UK, by 2030, there will be a lack of drinking water, fresh water. And the reason for that is that agriculture and sewage overflow and other things have gone away. And in fact, during the pandemic, a lot of people went swimming into the rivers and got sick. So every week almost now, BBC is running headlines around the drinking quality of water and the health of the rivers. So we're addressing that as well. We're now in works up north in England, creating a digital version of their rivers, combining IoT sensors with chemical, sound, and vision up and down the rivers, combining that with overflowing camera vision, so it could be flying over, basically, and then we have satellite images. Combining all that, we can understand why pollution and where pollution enters the rivers and create interventions stopping that from happening. And in turn, saving both, again, people, costs, because it costs a lot of money cleaning up that water, and then turning that into something that's more pure, sustaining life and going into our oceans. And I mentioned this briefly, but we all think that green energy is the best thing we can have, but it will build and change the ocean. As we build thousands of windmills, that changes the currents. That changes the way whales speak together and fish speak together. So we need to do that in a way where we can make sure we have little intervention on the sustainability and the species living there today, and create new ecosystems. So that's something we're working hard with on as well. Lastly, I'd just say this. There is a lot of excuses to do nothing, but we can start with what's possible and work ourselves backwards. And that's what we're doing. We're imagining what's possible with the technology right now. Yes, there are novelties that needs to be created, but we can do that with existing technology. So let's move faster, and let's do it together. Thank you.